Hello and welcome. Reading some more of Love and Jello. This is part 5 of an ongoing series. This book is written by Matt Reifenberg and Kathy Roden Gauguin. The ISBN is 978 1 71677 925 1. Library of Congress Control Number 20209 12349. This is the first printing 20 of Love and Jello. Make sure to pick up your copy today. Page 119, Love and Jello. Oops, 118. This is page 118, Love and Jello. There would be a meeting when everyone safely returned, and any damage to company property would be paid by the bus hijackers. Excuse me. Faith and Don were sitting across from each other and were talking about nothing in particular. Don moved into the seat in front of Faith, who was in her chair. They watched Bob Marley videos on Faith's iPad and laughed about various things said. I can't believe we're on this stolen bus headed toward the beach with this band of misfits, Faith said, laughing. Nor can I, Don replied, laughing. Not too long ago, I would sooner kill Wayne as to go anywhere with him, but he's not half bad. He's always been nice to everyone. I don't know why you didn't get along. Sometimes it's just that way, and sometimes things change, Don said, turning to look at Faith. Faith didn't know what to make of this statement. She had lots of questions she wanted to ask, but instead just smiled. She knew their page 119 Love and Jello would be this weekend to talk more about important things, but chose to just enjoy the moment with Don for now. Alice squeezed Bud's hand. Are you okay, honey? I'm okay. A little tired, but happy to be going to the beach. It's my favorite place to be. Can't wait to get there and see the ocean, Bud smiled. Well, I hope it isn't too soon for you to be traveling. You were in the hospital for so long and a week still. I'll be fine. Just keep taking care of me, and I'll be better than new soon. Deal, Alice said, taking Bud's hand. I was worried. Stop, Bud said. We have plenty of time to talk about all that bad stuff later. No bad stuff on this trip. Okay, honey, Alice said, smiling and leaning closer to Bud. Page 120. Love and Jello. Eddie watched the scenery go outside the bus. Beneath his rough exterior, he was happy to be on the road. Headed to the beach with his friends, he could use a drink, but had opted to cut back for the trip. Ruth sat next to him with his head on his shoulder. Dozing off and on, Eddie turned to her and smiled. The smile turned into a grimace as the pain in his stomach flared again. The sharp intake of breath made Ruth sit up and look at Eddie. Is it bad? About a six this time. You want something for it? No, I'm okay, Eddie said as the pain subsided for the time being. Pauline was sitting on the other side. Eddie and Ruth started out to the window as Eddie had been. She smiled to herself, turning to see Wayne wiping something off his shirt. You okay, love? Pauline asked. Page 121, Love and Jello. Yeah, I just spilled some coffee, Wayne answered, wiping the shirt again. Pauline smiled at the back of Wayne's head, knowing he had tried not to be clumsy, but usually failed miserably, whatever faults the man might have. Pauline had a little doubt he loved her and was going to do his best to make her happy. What more could you ask for? He had gone to see Robert and got her money back without asking her. He made sure she had anything and everything she could want, took care of her, and was very attentive to her. It helped her recover from the accident when she got home, made her laugh when she was feeling down, and spent every night holding her close while they slept. Yet there were things she didn't know about him yet. He didn't work, and had not in years. It seemed that to have a lot of money, he was a unicorn in some ways. There was some mystery about him, as he was the exact opposite of what people thought of him. Most people dismissed him as a simpleton, but there was a depth to Wayne she found amazing. Pauline realized at the moment somewhere near North Carolina state line that she loved Wayne. She stood up and walked close to him, holding on to the bus as the bus sped closer to the destination. Hey, darling, Wayne said, glancing quickly at Pauline and smiling, turning back at the road. Page 122, Love and Jello. Leaning close, Pauline whispered in Wayne's ear, I love you, Wayne. I just wanted to tell you that. The bus swerved slightly as Wayne turned to look at Pauline. Everyone looked up to see the bus half in the other lane and in unison yelled, "Wayne!" as he jock-eyed the bus back into the lane. Wayne chuckled, "Sorry, y'all." The bus pulled into the parking lot of a weathered two-story hotel called the Lazy Dragon Inn. While not a five-star, it was nice, just steps from the ocean. Had nice rooms, and there was a restaurant attached to the property that served breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as having entertainment. The air was thick, and it was hot outside. The bus hijackers were tired, but in the late afternoon sun, they made their way past the office, checking in yet, and went straight to the beach. Faith waited to the end of the walk leading to the sand and smiled at Dawn as Dawn stepped next to her. Page 123, Love and Jello. The rest made their way slowly, helping each other navigate past his kids playing, other beachgoers, and they had stopped at the water's edge. All were smiling, standing side by side, waves lapping at their feet, lost in the moment of arriving at the beach. For most of them, it would be most likely to be their last trip there. The excitement of just being there, smelling the salt air, hearing waves crash, and the realization of the significance of this moment in time brought a few tears. "Lord, I love the beach," Eddie said quietly. "Amen to that," said Wayne. Wayne was the first to see the younger man in shorts, as Eagles concert t-shirt and sunglasses, walking toward them. He turned and waved. The younger man slowly walked around the water's edge and finally made his way to the group of older people standing before him. He gave Wayne a quick hug before turning to Bud. "Hi, Dad." Bud flinched as the man off his sunglasses and smiled. Bud started to stammer a bit and finally laughed and stepped back forward to hug his youngest son. "Hey, kid, how are you?" Page 124, Love and Jello. The others watched the exchange, smiling at the pair. After a few moments, Wayne scratched his stomach and said, "This is touching and all, but I want to eat." They all turned and headed toward the office, with Matt and Alice helping Bud along slowly. He was weak still, but didn't want to miss the water for the first time this trip. Matt showing up was a shock, but he was happy to see him there. All the rooms were secured and keys handed out. Everyone went to their respective rooms to freshen up and agreed to meet at Bud's for a cocktail before heading to check out the entertainment for the evening. I can't compete with the train. For Wayne, it meant dessert at least. He didn't drink much, but I'd have a beer since he was on vacation. The others might be drinking more, like Don and Eddie, but that was fine. He would make sure they got back to their rooms okay if needed. When everyone was at Bud's, Wayne went to the fridge and pulled out a couple of bottles of champagne, some of each in a plastic cup. Not very classy, but it was all he could come up with at the moment. Page 125, Love and Jello. A toast to crazy beach road trips with friends, to those that love us, and to the lobsters we will be devouring tomorrow, Wayne laughed. Said the others, assembled, slipped their champagne. They were all on the balcony of Bud's room that ran the width of the living room and bedroom. They were less than 100 feet from the waves and could hear them crashing clearly as gulls flew back and forth. It was peacefulness they couldn't recall feeling in many years. The beach was emptying quickly as people headed home for dinner. There was a nice breeze, and although still hot, the sun was on the other side of the hotel, creating at least a shade for them presently. The doors to the room wide open, and Eddie was in the doorway, remote for the TV in hand, flipping through the channels. "At least the freaking cable works," he called out, causing the others to break into laughter. An hour passed, while the group sat on the balcony enjoying the sights and laughing as friends do, happy to be far from their lives and all of the hardships. Even for a short time, being at the beach was the most exciting thing they had done in a while, and they were grateful to be there despite all the things that weighed down in their minds. Outsiders would never know to look at them that night. Page 126, Love and Jello. A knock on the door caused them all to turn to see Matt come in. He was smiling as he greeted them all. and told him he had a table reserved for them if they wanted to go to the restaurant. They slowly made their way at the door, with Bud, Alice, and Matt being the ones left. Alice, could you give us a few minutes? Bud asked. Sure, honey. Don't make me sit alone, though. We'll be along shortly, dear. After Alice left, the pair sat on the balcony. Matt lit a cigarette and waited for his father to speak. You know I love the beach. I used to go to the lake in New York all the time, and the shore whenever I could. This beach is a little different, though. You don't have to walk far for water, as some place like Robert Moses had on the Long Island. You have to walk across a giant parking lot, then a ways to the water. It stinks there, too. The water's brown, and you need a shower to get the stink off you after you leave. Matt laughed, having been to the same beach a few times himself. Page 127, Love and Jello. How are you, brothers and sister, doing? Bud asked. Don't really know. Good, I guess. I don't see them a lot these days, Matt replied. I hear you're moving around a lot. You are hard to track down sometimes, but I was able to piece together what you've been up to the past 2 years. Had some interesting jobs there, I saw. You keep track. I'm surprised, Matt said, putting out his cigarette. Yep, been watching you all for a long time. Have you heard you have a son? He's a good-looking kid. What's his name? Justin, is it? His mom sounded like a hot mess, Bud said. Yeah, all Matt could think of to reply. Heard about your mother. I'm sorry for your loss. She was a good woman, Bud's voice trailed off and he was quiet for a minute. Matt looked at his father, surprised he knew so much, but said nothing. Nothing. Page 128, Love and Jello. I don't know why you tracked me down now, but I guess you did. I have had a bit of rough patch recently, so it is good to see you in person rather than just in pictures and reports. Matt was momentarily taken back. Reports? Pictures? He had been keeping up with us all these years. Why wouldn't he have reached out? Matt couldn't help to wonder, but he found himself unable to ask. I just wanted to say if you were coming around for money, there isn't any. I'm leaving it all to a waitress in Red Book, who is like a daughter to me, Bud said, his voice raising as he talked. Momentarily taken back, Matt was shocked, but not surprised. I don't want any of your money. I'm good. I was just in the area, heard you were at the manor, and came to see you. I don't know if you had cancer and had no way to know, but you'd been in a coma for so long, Matt replied finally. Yeah, well, I tend not to say about a lot of things. Me either, Dad. I guess I'm a lot like you. Bud laughed. God, I hope not, kid. They both laughed. Let's go in and join the others. There's a lot more to talk about, it seemed to Matt, but for now, it was enough. Page 30, Chapter 12, A Scare, and I'll be right back. Be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Chapter 12, A Scare. The next morning, Wayne and Pauline were sitting on the beach, enjoying the sun, and I'm getting some serious wind here. Hold on just a second. I don't want that to blow out and have to pick it up later. That should be good. Chapter 12, A Scare. The next morning, Wayne and Pauline were Love and Jello. Were sitting on the beach, enjoying the sun. Both were laying down, sunglasses on, and holding hands. The beach was busy with lots of families enjoying the beach as well. The couple was directly in front of the hotel and could see Alice and Bud sitting on the balcony of Bud's room. Bud was in a chair, as if if truth to be told, he was looking better since the group arrived at the beach. The salt air was doing wonders to speed his recovery along. Alice was seated next to him with her head resting on his shoulder and was feeling happy. Don and Faith seemed to be getting along well and were also on the balcony to Faith's room, which was next to Bud's. Ruth was seated on the beach, a short distance from Pauline and Wayne. She was concerned about Eddie, who was in their room watching TV. He was not much of a beach person, but was happy to be there. The doors to the room were open, and the sound of the waves close by, along with a slight breeze, gave Eddie the best of both worlds. The day passed without much happening, but a boring day at the beach is better than any other day, he said. I'm getting hungry, Wayne said, turning to Pauline. You're always hungry, dear, Pauline teased. I can't help it. I just like to eat, I guess. It's good that you burn it off easily. You'd be as big as a house with all you eat. I'm a little concerned about you, though. When is the last time you went to the doctor, Wayne? Let's see. I think it was, well, I don't recall. I think it was last year when I had the flu. Will you go? I want to get you checked out. I need you around for a while, Pauline said, smiling. Well, I can't guarantee anything sometime time-wise, because you could get hit by a truck or something at any time, Wayne laughed. Keep it up, mister, and I'll be the one driving that truck, Pauline said, grinning at Wayne. I promise I'll get checked out. Wouldn't want you to end up on the receiving end of a crazy woman trying to run me over. Page 132, Love and Jello. Good. See how easy life with me will be if you do everything I say? Yes, ma'am, Wayne said. Anything for you, darling. Ruth wandered to the couple, her beach towel neatly folded in a big floppy hat perched on her head. I'm going to check on Eddie and make a sandwich. Can I bring you something? Heck yes, Wayne said quickly, looking at Pauline, who shook her head and laughed. Ruth made her way to the room and walked in to find Eddie laying on the couch sleeping. Are you hungry, Eddie? I was going to make some sandwiches, Ruth asked. Love and Jello, page 133. Eddie didn't respond, so Ruth set about making sandwiches for herself, Eddie, Pauline, and two for Wayne. When she was finished, she said to Eddie, There's a sandwich here for you when you get hungry. Eddie appeared to be asleep and didn't respond. Ruth moved closer and shook Eddie a bit to wake him up. Eddie, I don't want your sandwich to get old. You can nap later after Eddie. There was no response. Dawn and Faith were enjoying the sun and breeze on the balcony, not really much talking. Normally they had interesting conversations and talked about a wide variety of topics, so both of them to be quiet was odd. But it was nice for them just to be hanging out together again. Did you know that the Wright brothers' first flight only lasted 22 seconds? Dawn said seemingly at random. I heard that somewhere, maybe it was a trivia question on one of the games I play online, Faith replied. 22 seconds and they changed the world, Don said, lost in a thought. Page 134, Love and Jello. Yes, along with Henry Ford, were instrumental in making the world a bit smaller, Faith replied. She is every bit as smart as Don, and she enjoyed the fact that she could talk at length about many topics. She doubted there were many at the manor she could have some conversations with. I always feel small when I visit the beach. The ocean is so large, and standing at the edge of what it makes me feel, Don said, trailing off as the shrieking began. What's that? Don asked. The sound of a woman yelling and clearly distressed caught their attention. Faith looked up to see Wayne and Pauline jump up, and the other beachgoers in the immediate area turned to look at the hotel for the source of the commotion. Wayne ran over to the walkway next to the hotel and disappeared, following closely by Pauline. It sounds like Ruth, Don said, heading to the door. He ran to the length of the access balcony, down a flight of stairs, and Ruth's room was met by Wayne and Pauline running down the opposite direction. Alice followed closely behind. Bud was walking as fast as he could, a few paces behind. Don flung the door open, and Ruth could be heard crying loudly. Pauline reached Ruth, who sobbed and walked, looking at the emotionless Eddie, who was laying on the couch on his side. He won't wake up, Ruth exclaimed, voice shaking and her body trembling. Call the paramedics, Wayne said to Pauline, handing her cell phone. Eddie, wake up, Don said, shaking Ed's shoulder. Maybe he needs mouth to mouth, Wayne said as Bud Alice Faith reached her room and came in to see what was wrong. Wayne leaned over Eddie and was trying to roll him on his back. He leaned closer, and Eddie opened one eye, saying, Wayne, if you get any closer, I'm going to punch you in the neck. Oh, Eddie, Ruth cried, hugging Eddie awkward as he tried to sit up. Can't get no sleep around here, Eddie said. The group breathed a collective sigh of relief and began to laugh. What the hell, Eddie, Don said. You scared me half to death, Wayne laughed. They all spent the afternoon together, enjoyed each other's company, having a great dinner in Bud's larger room. When the group separated for the evening, new friendships had formed. The old ones were stronger, and everyone was happy they had stolen a van to come to the beach. On the morning of the third day, the group had breakfast together in the restaurant before walking to the beach together. There had been a storm the night before with lots of lightning, where they watched together from Bud's balcony. Ruth and Pauline had cooked a large dinner, and there was wine, as well as beer, to wash down the lasagna the pair had made for everyone. There was many laughs and smiles during the evening. It was decided during their meal that they would leave and return to the manor the next morning. Pauline spoke for everyone when she said, Well, this has been fun. I've loved coming to the beach all my life. So many memories have been made here. I'll miss it. Faith, supported by Don and Wayne, had made her way slowly to the water, leaving her chair behind, for the time being not happy to feel the sand between her toes and the ocean lapping at her feet. I wouldn't have missed this for anything, Faith added after taking her beauty moment. You know we're going to get a lot of crap for this when we get back, right? Everyone laughed. It was late when the escape shuttle pulled into the customary parking spot for it. The hijackers slowly made their way in front door. Happy long drive was over, but a feeling of a little sad to be at the back of the manor. Vacations always seemed like that. Returning was bittersweet. For a few days, however, they were free. This is the epilogue, page 138. Let's see how many pages. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave the epilogue out because I don't want to, since this is copyrighted material. I'm just going to go ahead and that way you can read it yourself. There's 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So did you like how it ended? Well, I'm going to close here, and if y'all can to go ahead and get you a copy of this. It's called Love and Jello, and it's written by Matt Reifenberg and Kathy Roden-Gogan. It's written, and this is the first edition, written in 2020. The ISBN is 978-1-71677-925-1, and the Library of Congress control number is 20209-12349. And I'm not going to read, since this is copyrighted material, I'm going to leave out the epilogue. Deal? Okay? And that way you can get you a copy. Get you a copy today, and make sure to read the epilogue and the entire book. Thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye now. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.